everyone. I'm Scott Douglas. Welcome to Tuff Trax, a new television show that each and every week will bring you the best in action from the TNT Monster Truck Challenge and the TNT All-American Pulling Series. It's television's most powerful hour. I'll be calling the play-by-play action and analyzing everything that's happening is Army Armstrong. Army, we open up this week in Kalamazoo, Michigan with the superstars of monster truck racing on the TNT Monster Truck Challenge.
I don't know if superstars is a good enough name for these guys. Believe me, they are battlers. They're going out there. Some of the trucks we're going to be watching this evening are the USA 1 truck, Rod Litzow, trying to get back another national championship, working his way back from the bottom. Carolina Crusher, he's looking awfully strong, a Chevrolet-powered vehicle, currently your national points leader. The Equalizer, this young rookie out of Tennessee, is hammering on the door. He's coming after him. At this point in time, it's nothing but pulling the gloves off and going white-knuckle fighting in the monster truck division.
Not only will we see the best in monster truck action, we'll also go to the best of the outdoor pullers.
We're going to be seeing upwards of 5 engines on these multi-engine tractors. You figure each engine is 1,500 horsepower, wheel speed at 160 mile an hour. Some of the names we're going to be seeing: Banner, Frills, Tim Engler. All the big guns are here for that one too, Scott.
Well, we've got some great action coming up. There's a third member to our broadcast team as well, former Miss Kentucky and runner-up in the Miss USA pageant, Chris Chapman.
Thanks, Scott. The name of the game in monster truck racing is Win the Silver Flag. Each week, drivers battle it out for the honor of carrying this flag on to the next race. Last week's winners, Scott Stevens and King Crunch, had that honor. We'll see if he can hold on to it right here at Kalamazoo, Michigan. Back to you, Scott and Army.
Chris, he's going to have to take on the best in the business like that guy, the defending national champion from Spring Lake Park, Minnesota, Rod Litzow, and the USA 1. Litzow was the fast qualifier tonight, so he'll get a bye run. Let's look at the pairings in the opening round. Mad Dog will meet Mopar Magic in an outstanding pairing in our first round of competition. Jersey Outlaw, the Ford, takes on Playing for Keeps, a local favorite. Then Gravedigger, everybody's favorite, the awesome power of the Gravedigger, goes up against the Ford Bronco and no problem. Equalizer will meet Clydesdale in a Chevy battle. King Crunch, last week's winner, takes on the Wild Hair. And the Stomper is out to go up against Buffalo Tremor. There's the Carolina Crusher. He'll take on Nightlife. Some great matchups in the first round of competition as the Kalamazoo County Fair is our backdrop for the best in action here on the TNT Monster Truck Challenge. Tuff Trax now brings you Mad Dog against Mopar Magic and Army Armstrong. This ought to be a tight race.
Gary Wiggins going to be lining up. He'll be carrying the colors for the Dodge fans with a brand new Mopar Magic. He goes up against one of the strong veterans of the Chevrolet camp, John Moore, the Mad Dog Chevrolet, and Scott Douglas, the Mad Dog Chevrolet, puts the Dodge away in this round of elimination.
Just the beginning. There's lots more to come right here on Tuff Trax. Prepare. Jesse Bergey's Playing for Keeps, a hometown favorite among the superstars of monster truck racing at the Kalamazoo County Fairgrounds in Kalamazoo, Michigan. I'm Scott Douglas, back with Army Armstrong and Chris Chapman, getting ready for side-by-side elimination racing here in the first round. Now, Jesse Bergey's Playing for Keeps, getting ready to go up against Mike Wine and the Jersey Outlaw Ford. Army Armstrong, a big night for Playing for Keeps and Jesse Bergey, not just because he's in front of the hometown fans, but with a brand new Auto Value sponsorship. These folks at the Auto Parts stores known as Auto Value now getting behind this truck.
Well, the Auto Value Chevrolet a little bit late out of the hole. Bergey's going to have to come back. Meanwhile, the Jersey Outlaw, look at this kid out of New Jersey, Mike Wine, puts the Ford into the next round, Scott.
On the back of the truck, it says, "Friends don't let friends drive Chevys," and Mike Wine means it.
A real tough track, taking some real strange bounces out there. You're going to advance, but there's a real strong possibility the Gravedigger is going to be setting that other lane. What goes through your mind?
Well, right now, I'm very proud. The truck's been running fantastic. For the last 2 weeks, we've had nothing but problems. I've not even been able to go past the first round, so right now I'm just ecstatic to be able to go against the Digger, and I'm all out for him. He better run his best when he goes against me.
That'll come a little bit later when the Ford goes after that Chevy panel van of the Gravedigger. Right now, though, another Chevrolet out of Powder Springs, Georgia. This is Bennett Clark and Clydesdale. Let's see where the point standings are before we get to Bennett's match. Carolina Crusher has the lead in the national point standings by just 2 points over the Equalizer. USA 1, Gravedigger, Nightlife rounding out that top 5. Then you see Mad Dog, Awesome Kong, No Problem, Wild Hair, and Stomper still hanging on in the top 10, and Bennett Clark trying to crack that top 10. You're looking at David Morris, the driver of the Equalizer. Big matchup for Clydesdale if he could upset the Equalizer here, Army.
Well, Morris is playing a role, the rookie sensation this year, currently number 2 in the national point case, driving a Chevrolet. Got to put a win under his belt to try to pull in the Carolina Crusher, and it looks like the win's going to come at the expense of the Clydesdale.
Give it to Equalizer and David Morris. He's standing by now with our Army Armstrong.
There's a real strong possibility you're going to draw last week's winner out of Woodland, Texas, a King Crunch truck. You know, this next round looks like it could be awfully tough for you.
Yeah, Scott, he's about to get his truck. It's a new truck. He's about to get it all together, so it's going to be a tough race.
King Crunch is coming off a great week at Nashville, Tennessee, and he now will go up against the Wild Hair in opening round competition. That is Scott Stevens, and Army, he's in a state-of-the-art truck.
Oh, definitely a state-of-the-art truck. Onboard computers, rear-mounted engine, supercharged, a strong runner. Look at the ground speed, but the chassis still have a little bit of problem with chassis bounce. That will not affect him this time. We're going to see him in that next round, and the truck is looking awfully strong.
King Crunch defeats Wild Hair, the win to Scott Stevens. Next up, it's supposed to be Gravedigger against No Problem, but there are problems on the Gravedigger Chevrolet. Gary Porter coming over to try and help out. Let's see if we can hear the track announcer.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, No Problem is headline for the race. We have just been informed that the Gravedigger, they got the right chassis fixed, but perhaps there's a little slippage there. They now have 5 minutes to get the Gravedigger fixed, or they'll be disqualified.
Again, just 5 minutes for the Gravedigger to get it ready, or he'll be disqualified. And John Moore and the No Problem Ford Bronco will be able to move into the next round. We though want to take a look back, since we're going to have a minute, at the rivalry between Gravedigger and No Problem. And Army, it has become quite a rivalry. This is back at Richmond, Virginia. Let's watch this exciting matchup.
Well, both trucks lined up side by side. John Moore's been around this sport a long time. Relies on the Ford 4 horsepower. The engine located in the front. Meanwhile, the Gravedigger worked the inside lane. And Scott, when they came over the final jump in Richmond, Virginia, these people are used to seeing some great racing. Look what they saw here. One went over the wall, the other one went into the wall.
Gravedigger got the win there. Now, when they got together in Nashville, Tennessee, here's the No Problem Ford as a local favorite. He's from Lafayette, Tennessee, against the Virginian Dennis Anderson and Gravedigger. And this had to be a stunning, stunning loss in this situation for Dennis Anderson's Gravedigger.
Anderson was actually embarrassed after this run. He took a lot of ribbing from his fellow competitors. We talked to him about it.
He ribbed me for a little while but if we line up tonight, there's no breaks for John Moore.
Short, to the point. That's the way he feels about it, and he is going to make it. There you see him, Dennis Anderson, the pilot of the Gravedigger, hopping out of the back of the truck. It's ready to go. He will beat the 5-minute deadline as the crowd in Kalamazoo cheers him on. Gravedigger now will try to exact a measure of revenge from one John Moore and the No Problem Ford Bronco.
Like you say, there's no love lost between these drivers. The Ford line up closest to the crowd. Gravedigger lines up with the awesome horsepower closest to the camera. Who's going to be on the other end first? That's what it's going to be all about. There's a fire on the mountain, Scott. Who's going to put it out?
The red lights flaring from the front of the Gravedigger. When he's got him turned on, he's telling everybody who's watching him that the Gravedigger's 100% and ready to go hunt. Here he goes.
What a shot. Gravedigger leads perfectly off the right side. Moore keeps the pressure on. Gravedigger's going to the round, but believe me, he had his hands full all the way through that one.
Dennis Anderson from Chesapeake, Virginia, and Gravedigger the winner.
Well, Dennis, last week this guy literally embarrassed you, but you come back and nail him tonight.
Yeah, that's what I've been waiting for. I wanted to nail John Moore. I told him I would never give him another break again. Although I had a little bit of slow time there at the line, we got a line fixed. I said I was going to put it on him this pass, and I did it.
He got the win. Let's look at it again. John Moore never really getting out of the chute. He had to sit on that starting line for quite a while. That may have cost him.
Last week in Nashville, Tennessee, you literally embarrassed the Gravedigger, and you ran him an awfully good race here tonight, but not to be.
No, it wasn't to be. I thought I was going to get him here tonight till I got him off the line, and his power just took it out the hole. That's all. It took it out the back door.
What goes through your mind when you're sitting up there for 5 long minutes waiting for him to get fixed to go against you?
Oh, it's frustrating. It's just frustrating. I've been ready to go 5 minutes ago, and 10 seconds ago, we just lost the race.
The words from John Moore, but he's out of this competition tonight in Kalamazoo, Michigan. There's John Kwasniewski, who brings out the Buffalo Tremor from the Buffalo area. To be exact, Lackawanna, New York. His opponent in this first-round matchup, one of the most popular trucks in monster truck racing today. Out of Missouri, it's Starvin Marvin Smith from Arnold, Missouri, and the Stomper Chevrolet.
Well, this pair-up's kind of unique. The reason being, you've got a young driver in Kwasniewski sitting in the Buffalo Tremor closest to the camera. One of the old pros on the circuit, the Stomper, the crowd favorite Stomper Chevrolet. They come out with the New York kid, Mel, and he actually drilled the Stomper Chevrolet. Look at this. I don't know if you can call it an upset, but I do believe that John Kwasniewski has arrived in this sport.
Give the win to Buffalo Tremor. Trimmer and John Kwasniewski.
Hey, you're the new kid on the block. These guys have been around a long time. Are you going to let them push you around, or can you handle them?
I can handle them. We've got a big enough motor and the suspensions right now. We can handle it.
Right now, he's at the top of the heap. I'm talking about Gary Porter from Wadesboro, North Carolina, and that truck, the Carolina Crusher, your current national point leader on the TNT Monster Truck Challenge.
Yeah, but Scott, look who he's going up against, and when you're on top, there's only one way you can go. That's to fall off, and everybody's going to be going after him. When you go into the lines against the Crusher, you got to give it your all, and that's what's going to happen. I believe the Nightline truck of Dave Wysorek is one of the most underrated trucks on the tour. He can put you away in a heartbeat. Let's see what he's going to do with the Crusher. Both of them powered by Chevrolet. The crowd's on their feet. This run could actually determine a change in the National Point Championship case. They're off and running. What does it look like from your view?
The Nightlife truck out of Grand Island, Nebraska, trying to hang with the Carolina Crusher. I think he got him with that last burst.
God, he did. It was an upset in Kalamazoo, Michigan.
A major upset as your national point leader, Gary Porter, is beaten.
Gary, you're on top. Everybody's coming after you. You know they're going to throw everything they have at you when you go to that line.
They are. When I come off the first set of cars that time, I don't know, my truck cut off for some reason. It just died. I don't know if it was fuel, electrical, or what it was, and it cost me the race.
Well, Dave Wysorek just walked up in the interview area laughing. What are you laughing about here? A lot of people are just kind of quiet. They saw an upset.
A lot of guys are having a hard time beating Gary. He's been taking all the points, and I finally got my chance of beating him, and I'm glad I beat him.
It does feel good?
It does.
See you in that next round.
All right.
Upset for Nightlife, knocking off the Carolina Crusher. Lots more monster truck racing will be coming up. That wraps up the first round. We'll also have modified tractor pulling here on Tuff Trax, bringing you the TNT All-American Pulling Series. The National Tractor Pulling Championship from Bowling Green, Ohio. Army Armstrong, this is the Indy 500, the Daytona 500, the Super Bowl of outdoor pulling from Bowling Green, Ohio.
Well, not only for the pullers themselves, but 1 weekend a year, the fantastic fans of this sport gather in Ohio for 3 days of some of the best pulling in the world.
This time, we're going to look at the 7,200-pound modified. Now, these tractors have 4 and 5 engine combinations.
Well, for those not familiar with the sport, you got to realize professional pulling, it's weight. Weight determines everything. Your pulling weight and your classes are actually set by weight. So you're going to see some different engine combinations, 3 inches, 4 inches, 5 inches. The bottom line is they all weigh 7,200 pounds.
John Carlton, the Virginia farmer, he hails from Little Plymouth, Virginia, hooks to the sled and is ready to take it on here in Bowling Green.
Carlton drops the visor down, his left hand on the steering wheel, right hand on the throttle, relies on Chevrolet for the horsepower. Now dial that horsepower in, pulling a 50,000-pound sled. It gets heavier the further down the track you go. Carlton trying to muscle a Chevrolet horsepower out the end of the track in Bowling Green. I don't believe he's going to do it.
Excellent pull. He didn't get it out, but he's given him something to beat. 283.38. That's the distance everybody will shoot at now. It's put down by the Virginia farmer, John Carlton. Former national champion Pat Friel. He's out of Island, Kentucky, and hooks the Dollar Devil to the sled.
He also relies on the Chevrolet engine for horsepower. Eagle Cam sponsorship along with West Express Trucking out of Western Kentucky. Friel trying to win 2 national championships in a row. He watched Carlton. Let's see if he made any adjustments. He's a little bit lighter on the nose or the front of the tractor, but the weight box, notice how quick that weight box comes up and it's hitting them all shy of the 300-foot mark in Bowling Green.
Never got any ground speed, well short of John Carlton's pull of 283. Our next puller will be John Heilman, Levi Garrett. He'll be coming out of Rockford, Ohio.
Heilman been around the sport many, many years. The Levi Garrett special relies on the aluminum Chevrolet engine for horsepower. Now, you notice so far we've seen 2 tractors in front of him with 4 engines. Heilman runs a 5-engine combination. He's really light on the nose, but look at this run. He comes down the left side of the track, taking a different groove, and it looks like it paid off for him, Scott.
Very impressive. You can see he was on the brake hard, but he still takes the lead with a pull of 290.36. Your new leader is John Heilman.
John Heilman puts the name Levi Garrett in that number 1 spot, but I tell you what, John, I'm sitting here right next to this tractor, and I smell nothing but brake. What is that?
Oh, I had the brake on for at least 100, 150 feet. I don't think it'll hold up. It was a beautiful run, but I had to fight the brake so hard. An extra few feet I needed. If I could just got it straightened out, we could take it right out the gate.
Here you get a look coming right at you with the Levi Garrett pull, and you can see how close he was to getting a full pull. Right now, he's the leader, but there are more to come, including Mike Piper and Just Add Dirt. He's currently second in the national point standing behind Tim Engler and Mission Impossible. So Piper, theoretically, with a win here, could take the national point lead.
Piper relies on the awesome horsepower. The Arius engine, a specialized engine manufactured just to make nothing but raw horsepower. Chevrolet and Lee, Piper's going after him, and I believe he's going to do it. A good run, working the same lane as Heilman. The left side is the place to go.
There's your new leader, Mike Piper. Just Add Dirt at 296.1.
Mike Piper bumped up in the #1 spot. Mike, everybody seems to be drifting to the left out there after about half track. What's causing that?
Well, that's kind of the nature of Bowling Green track. He had done it last year up here, and it just got a hook in it there, and he wants to lead you up the high side.
Here again is the run that has taken over top spot in Bowling Green. Mike Piper's Just Add Dirt. And we're going to be seeing lots more action from Bowling Green a little later here on Tuff Trax. But when we return our first monster truck race in the quarterfinal round, we'll send USA 1 up against Mad Dog. Now, these two trucks have been in action before. The last time they met in Nashville, Tennessee, USA 1 was actually disqualified for not hitting the cars properly. Army, tell us about that ruling.
Well, in monster truck racing, the rules specifically say the front tires have to hit the obstacle that you're going to go over. Now, John Bream had no problem. He hit everything with his front tires, but on the final jump, I want you to watch the right front tire of USA 1. Did he hit it? I don't believe he did.
That left him disqualified. USA 1 lost, but Everett Jasper, the truck owner, very unhappy.
Yeah, I just wanted to make mention that we would come out here. Rodney qualified that truck 2/10 faster than anybody else out here tonight. I know we would have been running in the 7s by the end of the night. This was our race to win, and we got cheated out of it, and it's going to come to an end.
A very upset Everett Jasper, but again, the replay seems to show that this time Everett might not have been correct in his assertion because it appears clear Rod Litzow did not hit that last set of cars. Nonetheless, Litzow gets a chance at revenge against Mad Dog when we return on Tuff Trax. This is Tuff Trax with the superstars of monster truck racing on the TNT Monster Truck Challenge in Kalamazoo, Michigan, battling for prestigious points and a national championship. And the defending national champ, Rod Litzow, USA 1. Earlier tonight, Army Armstrong, he served notice that what happened to him last week at Nashville has done nothing but fire him up.
When the USA 1 team of Rod Litzow and Steve Wilkie rolled on the fairgrounds, they had fire in their eyes. They were going to prove beyond a doubt they had the quickest monster truck in the country, and that's exactly what they did.
We asked Rod about his strategy for defending the national championship.
Well, from qualifying, I want to get the fastest qualifying time because basically right now I'm coming back. I want to get as many points as I can. I'm going shooting for all the points, so I have to get the fastest qualifying, and I'd like to knock out some of the other guys going up the line early in the rounds. I like to get up against Carolina Crusher or Equalizer in the first round, so I got a chance to put them out. That'll give me a lot more points because I'm gaining on those guys, and that's where I'm heading.
USA 1's Rod Litzow, and he gets ready now to try and get a little revenge from Mad Dog. We're ready for the quarterfinals. Let's go over to our colleague Chris Chapman and take a look at how the pairings stack up for the quarterfinal round of competition.
Some tremendous racing lined up for you in this quarterfinal action at the Kalamazoo County Fair. This is what it looks like. Rod Litzow, the defending national champion, takes that USA 1 Chevy truck against John Breen and the Mad Dog. Our next race places Mike Wine and the Jersey Outlaw, who don't stop playing for keeps in first-round competition against crowd favorite Dennis Anderson and the Gravedigger. That'll be a great race to watch. Our next race, David Morris, the rookie racer on the circuit, takes the Chevy Equalizer against another Chevy on the circuit, Scott Stevens and King Crunch. This will be another race we want to keep an eye on. And rounding out the quarterfinal competition, it is John Gwozniewski and the Buffalo Trimmer against Dave Wyzorek and Nightlight.
The first of those matchups is at the starting line. Mad Dog and USA 1.
Hold up by the Mad Dog. USA 1 trying to stay cool. Come back on in the final jump. Going to tell the story. He takes it.
Mad Dog pushed him, but you've got to be impressed with the all-out attack on this track of Rod Litzow and USA 1.
Well, Rod Litzow, what a difference a week makes. Last time we saw you in Nashville, Tennessee, it was almost an embarrassing situation for you. Looks like you're working back in the right direction.
Yeah, we went back, made a few changes in there, and I'm here. I'm coming back strong. I'm going to take it all tonight.
You guys are dedicated to winning this thing for the second year in a row, but luck seems to be on the other side of the fence from you. How are you going to overcome that?
Well, we ain't going to play with luck anymore. We played with that, long enough. Now I'm just playing with my old game like I did last year. I'm coming out here strong, and I'm out here to win.
Rod Litzow serving notice on the field, but hey, those red lights serve notice as well that Dennis Anderson and the Gravedigger is ready for battle. The Chevy panel van of the Gravedigger against a real Chevy hater. That's the Jersey Outlaw Ford and Mike Wine.
Mike Wine's going to be sitting on the left side of the awesome red lights. Remember, when you see two red lights, that means Gravedigger is on full kill. Look at this run. The Gravedigger comes out real strong right side. The track looks to be getting a lot rougher for these guys, but he'll go to that next round.
Give the victory to Dennis Anderson's Gravedigger as he has it on their feet in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Gravedigger will advance to the Final Four. Let's look at it again in Army as we watch Gravedigger go across and get the win. A couple of things flew up, but it looked like on the end of the run from the Jersey Outlaw, debris was flying everywhere.
I don't know if you'd call it debris or shrapnel, Scott. There's stuff flying all over the air out there at that finish line into the track.
Mike Wine and the Jersey Outlaw beaten by the Gravedigger as the Digger will make it to the round of 4. Now, David Morris and the Equalizer. The youngster out of Springfield, Tennessee Army has been the real surprise this year in monster truck racing.
Well, he's been a surprise in one sense. He's the rookie. That's the surprise part. What people don't realize is he's teamed up with, I believe, one of the smartest men in motorsports, being Gary Cook out of Tennessee. Many years of puller. Got into the monster truck racing after a lot of experimentation. Hired him a good driver, and the kid's doing a great job for him. But look who he's going to be going up against. Probably one of the premier trucks on the circuit, the high-tech King Crunch out of Woodland, Texas.
And King Crunch is the hot hand coming off back-to-back victories in Nashville. He carries the silver flag, significant of last week's winner. An excellent race there side by side, Army.
What a run. Crunch taking some real weird bounces. Oh, we've got some problems on the end of it. They're really having trouble shutting these trucks down.
Very tight race. Equalizer and King Crunch side by side. We'll now go to our videotape. It's actually a timing tape that'll break it down frame by frame to show us who actually came in first. You can see how close it is. Let's take a listen, see if we can pick up the times.
Equalizer ran 7.82.
So Equalizer gets the victory by 0.03 of a second. Let's see how Scott Stevens feels.
Well, Scott, the word is the Equalizer did get you by 0.03 of a second.
Yeah, that's not bad. This is only the 7th time the truck's been down the track. Every week it's getting faster. A couple of weeks we were winning. Tonight we were off just a little bit. Maybe I should have been driving a little bit harder. There's tomorrow night. We've got a lot more races to go, and I still think we're going to be maybe a truck that's going to mess up a lot of guys in the final round before it's over with.
King Crunch got a late start. He's not battling for the National Points Championship, but as he said, he can really play a spoiler and almost spoiled Equalizer right there. But he pulls it out. The win to David Morris, the youngster from Springfield, Tennessee. Here's David with Army Armstrong.
Dave Morris, 0.03 of a second. Not very much, but enough in this game of thousandths of seconds.
Yeah, that was a real close race. I wasn't sure who won it. I knew when we hit the cars, we were just dead heat up, and I was just praying that I had a little edge on him. I had her to the floor when we went for the second set of cars. That's what I was hoping to pass him in the air.
What about the shutdown? You definitely had your hands full trying to get that truck under control and get it stopped before you got into the guardrail down here on the finish line end.
Yeah, yes, I did. I didn't know what kind of shape I was going to be in when I landed. I knew I was going for the hole in the guardrail, and I was afraid to get on the brakes, and I was afraid to try to turn it, so I just thought I'd kind of slow it down gradually, so that's what I did.
We'll see you in that next round. Good luck.
Thanks.
Our next matchup, our final matchup of the quarterfinal round, will send Dave Wychorek right there from Grand Island, Nebraska, and Nightlife up against the Buffalo Trimmer, the New Yorker, John Kwasniewski.
Well, for those people that follow motorsports, they know what I'm talking about when I talk about an alcohol-burning drag racing engine like they run in the Double B Funny cars. That's exactly the kind of engine that the New York-based Buffalo Trimmer runs, along with an all-aluminum frame. That's the truck we're looking at now. On the other side of the spectrum is the guy that does all his own work, Dave Wychorek out of Nebraska. He's the quiet giant in this sport. Who it's going to take the win, I don't know, but this kid out of New York is really flexing his muscle now. Wychorek coming back, though. Whoa.
The difference was the way he came off the first set of cars. Tremor had the edge, but he was out of shape, and Wysorek was smooth. He'll go to the semifinals. That's later, but when we come back, you see it. Turbine time on the TNT All-American Pulling Series.
If you have
The Pioneer Seed balloon flying high overhead of TNT All-American Pulling Series action. Pioneer Seed is one of the great sponsors on hand for the National Truck and Tractor Pulling Championship at Bowling Green, Ohio. And lining up for more action with the 7,200-pound modified tractors Army, 4 turbines. It's the General and Gardner Stone.
Gardner Stone, one of the most unique individuals I've ever had an opportunity to know, has a really interesting theory about horsepower. He says, I'm not going to buy it, I'm going to build it, I'm going to engineer it. And believe me, you look at the 4-turbine tractor. This is the only 4-turbine tractor in the world. Gardner Stone, it's an awesome horsepower display. 7,200 pounds. How's he going to compare to the automotive engines? Let's see right now, Scott.
It does. It even sounds like an airplane getting ready to take off. As the turbines bring her down the track, Gardner Stone and the General trying to beat 296.1. He's not going to be anywhere close.
Not going to do it, but he went to the other side of the track, and I think that actually cost him some distance. The 296 came off the left side. He goes to 259 down the right lane.
All right, the leader, if you were with us earlier, Mike Piper, and Just Add Dirt. Piper is trying to gain in the national points chase on this man, the national points leader on the TNT All-American Pulling Series, Tim Engler's Mission Impossible.
We're looking at where Engler lines the sled up basically in the middle of the track. He relies on Chevrolet engines for horsepower, 5 of them. Comes out, burps the throttle real quick in order to plant it. Light on the nose, the front end starts to come up on Engler. The ground speed there. Engine starts to go away a little bit on Engler. That's going to hurt awfully bad. Not the run by any means Engler was looking for. I believe he actually lost an engine on that shot.
Still a decent run, 286.55, but he'll lose some points to Mike Piper.
Tim Engler, at the beginning of the year, you and this Chevrolet horsepower were the team to beat, but it seems like something's gone away on you. These guys are really closing in on this points battle after you.
We had an engine that run right there that went down on us to give us a little bit of a problem. I think a magneto went out. So really, I think we're right there. We're not but about, what, 4 or 5 feet behind the leader?
Actually 10 feet behind the leader as you see the end of the run for Mission Impossible. So Engler now just hoping that that will continue to be good enough. He's standing in 3rd right now, but there are still several top competitors to come, like this guy, Fred Freeman from Wadesville, Indiana, and the mean Miss Freeman.
Freeman's a unique individual. You watch his right hand, he rolled about 3 feet, wham, pulled the throttle, the front end came up, trying to put the horsepower on the left side of Bowling Green track, backed out of the throttle, because in this sport, you go out of bounds, no points, no money. Boy, what a tough break, only going a 209 and a 10.
Maybe the surprise of the day. Not a typical run from one of the favorites. Mean Miss Streeter and Fred Freeman will finish well back in the pack. Army, let's look at the run.
What he does, he nails the throttle, the front end skies on. Now the sled pulls him over. This is one of the most awesome views of a tractor pull you're ever going to see. That tractor coming, spinning the rear tires 160 mile an hour, pulling 50,000 pounds of weight straight at you.
There are very few legends in this sport, but you're looking at one of them.
Dave Banner. He and his brother Ralph have been around this game for many, many years. It's not a game to them. It's a business. It's a livelihood. Banner has won at Bowling Green before. He knows the track. He knows there's a hook in the middle of the track at about the 150 mark. Let's see if he's going to try to drive around it with 4 Chevrolet engines.
The final puller, Dave Banner and Mr. Chevy. He needs to beat 296.1. I don't think he's going to get there.
Not going to do it. Goes down the right side. Banner down the tubes, and Piper takes one of the biggest wins of his young career.
Indeed, Just Add Dirt's your winner. Let's go to Chris Chapman and look at the final standings.
Thanks, guys. Dave Banner has completed the pulling here, so now let's take a look at the final standings. First place, it's Mike Piper and Just Add Dirt. Second, John Heilman. Third, a bit of surprise, Tim Engler. And fourth, we have John Carlton out of Little Plymouth, Virginia. And rounding it out, it's Dave Banner and Mr. Chevy. And coming up, it's USA 1 and Equalizer. They're going to rock and roll right here on Tuff Trax. Don't miss it.
Does your closet...
Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to Tuff Tuff Trax. I'm Chris Chapman along with Scott Douglas and Army Armstrong here at the home of America's finest monster truck racing. Here's what the pairings look like as we head into semifinal action at the Kalamazoo County Fairgrounds. It's going to be USA 1 versus, as always, the crowd favorites, Dennis Anderson and the Gravedigger. Our final pairing places the Equalizer head-to-head against Dave Wyzurek. A big surprise in this racing here tonight by knocking off Gary Porter and the Carolina Crusher in first-round competition. But now let's go to Scott and Army for the call of the action.
Thanks, Chris, and this is one they flat paid their ticket price to see tonight, Army. It's Gravedigger, Dennis Anderson, Chesapeake, Virginia, against the defending national champion, the Chevrolet USA 1 and Rod Litzow from Spring Lake Park, Minnesota.
Litzow come down that right lane, but both red lights are on the Gravedigger. You know what that means? It's going to be a Donnybrook. They come out side by side, half bracket close. God, I don't know. Oh, what a finish. Whoa, what? We still got problems down here trying to get the truck shut down.
USA 1 finally does get her slowed. Army, I thought Gravedigger was going over.
What? He came across the finish line. We're looking at the top of his truck. An awesome ride by that youngster out of Virginia.
Dennis Anderson's Gravedigger, Rod Litzow in USA 1, too close to call. And so I guess that means we're going to be going back to the videotape timing system right now, and they'll break it down frame by frame.
Look at the angle of the truck, Scott.
Incredible. Let's see if we can hear the times and see who won this race.
All right, here it is, the official result. The USA 1 ran 7.16 seconds. The Gravedigger ran 7.13 seconds.
Dennis Anderson, when this thing started tonight, you told us you were going after USA 1. You lined up next to him, and you got him. What's going through your mind right now?
Well, I was glad I could pull it off. I pulled to the line. I didn't have second gear, so I had to bump it from low to third and just stay after it, and I was going to nail him to the wall, and that's what I did. Done a little bit of damage to the truck, but who cares? I beat him. This blood and guts out here, we're for real. We're here to win the points champion. We got big purse to win, and we got reputations to live up to, and we're going to live up to them.
Anderson gets the win over USA 1's Rod Litzow.
Rod Litzow, 7/100ths of a second. So little, but yet so far.
Yeah, I don't know. I ain't way I planned it out here. I was pushing it to the limit there. I don't know. I thought it was a lot closer than that. I don't know. Maybe I have to review the tape again. I don't think he got me because I was looking out the side of I was looking out the side. I could see him behind me, so I don't know if he got me there.
So you got some doubt as to whether or not he did beat you?
Yeah, I'd like to see the tape on it.
Let's you and I take a look at it, Army, and here it is, the videotape of that finish. Gravedigger on the far side, USA 1 closest. Now look at the wheel, that white pole right in front. That's the finish line.
Yeah, Gravedigger was there. You got to remember, every time you see the video jerk as 300ths of a second. However, we noticed at the end of the track that Gravedigger's on the hook. He did a lot of front-end damage on that run to put USA 1 away.
Gravedigger now will have to see if he can come back to the final. If he can, he'll go for the win here in Kalamazoo. If not, USA 1 might be back. Man, what a race, and we're not done. We've still got another semifinal coming up.
Yeah, look who's coming up now, the spoiler.
The spoiler being Nightlife against the Equalizer, the rookie, who the veterans say they don't plan on letting win the championship.
Well, I'm going to be running strong from here on out to the end of this season, so if these guys don't want a rookie at the finals at the end of the year, they're going to have to run real hard.
David Morris serving notice that, hey, he may be a rookie, but he's backing off from no one.
Scott, we talked at the beginning about a white-knuckle street fight. That's exactly what we're looking at here. Morris comes out in the left lane, takes some straight bounces, but he's going to the final. Wyzurek really didn't attack the track that time. He may have had some problems with Nightlife. The story is the rookie is doing what he said he was going to do. He's staying in the hunt.
David Morris came in battling Gary Porter for the national points. Porter went out early. It's a big night so far and getting bigger by the minute for David Morris, an Equalizer, and you can see how convincingly right there he got the win over Nightlife.
Well, Morris at this particular time right now is the new national points leader.
There's Gary Cook and David Morris checking out the track. They want to look at both sides because they're getting ready to go into the finals against either Gravedigger or USA 1, because that's our question right now. Will Gravedigger Gravedigger be able to come back to battle Equalizer for the championship. He has earned the right to be there, just as this young man, David Morris, has. But as you saw at the end a moment ago, the truck was in pretty bad shape. Definitely a tire was down. But was there more substantial damage underneath? And if there was, will Rod Litzow be ready to try and knock off the youngster, David Morris, here at Kalamazoo? All the questions are in front of us as USA 1 or Gravedigger, after this great run, one of these two will come back with a monster smash against Equalizers. Stay tuned. The awesome power of Tuff Trax with the superstars of monster truck racing on the TNT Monster Truck Challenge. There's no bigger superstar than that man right there, but you can stick a fork in him for today because he's done. I'm talking about Dennis Anderson's Gravedigger. He's broke, cannot make the final. That means Rowdy Rod Litzow right there. The USA 1 will be in the championship. Litzow lost by 0.03 of a second, but he's not done. He's coming back in the final. It'll be USA 1 against the Equalizer.
Well, you know, this is kind of an interesting setup because these fellows have gone head-to-head before. As a matter of fact, the last time they went head-to-head, one of them literally wound up on his head. That took place at Richmond, Virginia, when they lined up chasing these national points. When these two guys go, it's a Donnie Brooks side by side. They leave. Now keep an eye on the truck on the far side. The left front suspension collapsed. End over end he goes. Morris is all right, but it sure scared everybody about half to death for a second.
The wildest ride of the young monster truck racing career for David Morris. Army Armstrong was over to talk to him after he flipped the Equalizer.
David, you set up a war and you fought a good battle. I can't think of anything else that you could have done to win that thing. It was awesome.
Well, I didn't know what happened. I knew I made a good landing when I landed, and I don't know, I couldn't figure out why the truck would be rolling, but I knew it was, so I hope it didn't hit Rod's anywhere.
No, Rod's okay. He was over here worried about you. The landing was good. The bounce is where the problem came in. You landed, it looked good, and then you took a real weird bounce that we've been talking about all night long, and it went over to the left front, and that's what tore the whole front suspension out from underneath the truck.
Well, I didn't know what happened. I knew something had happened major because the truck had started into a roll, and it hadn't been doing it when it takes that kind of landing, so I knew something had to broke.
We're going to let you, they're going to put you right back to work. Gary Cook's got a bunch of guys. They're going to try to get the truck fixed. We're glad you're okay. We'll see you on the tour later on.
Okay, thanks.
You know, you talk about monster trucks rocking and rolling. That was one situation. Here's another one as we get ready for the Monster Smash final. We're at Buffalo, New York, and we're going to look at Rod Litzow in USA 1 against Andy Brass and Bigfoot.
You know, a lot of people think these monster trucks are just show. You believe this. TNT, when they come to town, you're going to see a war, all-out competition, and this is what happened.
Rod Litzow rolls it over. Not the first time the USA 1 has been on its roof, because I'll tell you, Rod gives it everything he's got every time around. This was another wild ride, though, for the defending national champion. Army Armstrong got over to talk with Rod right after that flip.
Rod, first of all, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm just a little shook up, you know. The higher speed, it went fast over this time.
Yeah, I seem to be getting a lot quicker now.
Oh, yeah, a lot faster. And it was hard to react, and if she went into a slide, you know, the grass is slippery, and I couldn't pull it out of this one, and it just went all of a sudden, it caught an edge.
The national champion in 1988. He started slowly in 89, so Rod Litzow has really had to put her on the edge to try and get back in the national championship hunt. And when you put it on the edge, sometimes you go over the edge.
You know, in any kind of motorsport, that's the attitude you have to take. It's like a crapshoot.
Back now in Kalamazoo, we're ready for the Monster Smash, the championship.
Scott, what they're doing, the track crew is going out and actually knocking a ramp down, trying to take a little bit of air away from these trucks, as the drivers are saying it's getting awfully dangerous on the finish line into the track.
Two are left, USA 1 and Equalizer, head-to-head, side-by-side in the Monster Smash. USA 1 and Equalizer, Army.
Litzow comes out. He's in trouble on the end of the track. Litzow goes around one more time on his top. Oh, no.
He wins, but he wins on his roof. USA 1 and Rod Litzow wins it in Kalamazoo, but he wins it upside down. Oh, my, what an incredible finish. David Morris also got a little sideways at the end. He kept his truck on all four wheels, however. Rod for the championship. The Monster Smash Final. All the drivers come flying down to the end of the track to get a look at Rod Litzau's USA 1 and to get him out of that truck.
Well, it gets scarier and scarier as we go along, and it gets so much quicker. These guys are flying down here.
Wow, what a final. There is Rod Litzau. He's out of the truck, safely out of the truck as he's flipped her again, but I'm going to tell you, he's going to flip it with a smile on his face because Litzau came here for one reason, no matter what it took to get a victory, and USA 1 has done just that. As you can see him kind of looking over his handiwork. What an incredible finish. And there's Steve Wilkie, his crew chief, coming over saying, "You all right, Rod?" Litzau says, "Yep," and we won her. Look at it coming right into your living room. USA 1 on its route. What a winner. We'll see it again and talk to both drivers next. The Superstars with a super sensational performance this week on Tuff Trax. The TNT monster trucks letting it all hang out at Kalamazoo, Michigan. It doesn't look like it, but there's your winner, Army.
You know, it's amazing. We just talked to the crew chief, Steve Wilkie. He told us the damage is all superficial. There's some sheet metal damage on the truck, and the air cleaners in the carburetor, that's the only thing that was damaged. They can go racing again.
USA 1 got to win. The runner-up was David Morris, and Army got a chance to talk with the equalizer driver.
Dave, just a minute ago, you guys were battling head-to-head. He goes upside down. The last times you all ran each other, you went on your head. You're kind of even, but you're going to meet before the year's over.
Yeah, I thought it was just vice versa. We was in reverse lanes the last time I rolled on that side. This time he rolled on that side, so it was a wild race.
What goes through your mind? When did you know he was in trouble, and what goes through your mind when you see a competitor in trouble like that? I know you guys aren't friends, but you got to have some kind of gut feeling.
Well, at the time, I didn't know he was in trouble. I hate that Rod rolled, but I wish I could have beat him while he was rolling.
You see it again. USA 1 gets the win, but it's at the end. It's the landing. He gets on the side and goes over the top.
God, he completely cleared all the cars in the final jump before the flip.
And there he is, resting on his roof, but a winner nonetheless. Armies with Rod.
Defending national champion USA 1 has been very vocal about not being happy the way things have been going in 1989. He says the brakes have not been going my way. Well, tonight you took a win, but oh, what a cost to take this win.
Yeah, it was. You know, it's something that you don't want to happen in that, but we're playing with different tracks. The tracks are slippery. We're going a lot faster. But, you know, I told you earlier, I said I'm coming here to win. That's what I did. I may have taken a roller, but I'm coming back right away.
Almost unbelievably, as Army pointed out, the damage is basically superficial. The air cleaners and a little body damage, and like Litzau said, he'll be back, and we know he's going to be back next week here on Tuff Trax. But I'll tell you, it's been a wild night in Kalamazoo, and that has meant something to the points. Here's Chris.
Well, after racing here tonight, it is now David Morrison, the Chevy Equalizer, moved into the lead, and he's followed by Gary Porter and the Carolina Crusher, who's dropped to second after a first-round loss. Then it's USA 1 gaining ground in the points race, followed by Gravedigger and Nightlife. Rounding out the top 10, it is Mad Dog John Breen, followed by John Moore and No Problem. Next, Awesome Kong in the 8th spot, and rounding out the top 10, it is Stomper and Wild Hair Tide. Scott?
Next week, right here on Tuff Trax, the defending national champion USA 1, Rod Litzau, tries to renew his assault on the top of the point standings. That's right, despite the flip this week, Rowdy Rod's back next week. He'll be renewing one of his most bitter rivalries, that with King Crunch. King Crunch goes Crunch next week on Tuff Trax. And we'll also see some great modified pulling action as these guys will really be red hot. It's all next week on Tuff Trax. For Army Armstrong and for Chris Chapman, I'm Scott Douglas. The Monster Smash one more time. Litzau wins it, and we'll see you next week here